What would our founding fathers think of today's political divisions? Maybe they would be shocked that the Constitution is still the governing document of our government and that we're still a democracy, a republic. But let's think back to what Washington and Hamilton, Jefferson, Madison, and Adams would think of our politics today. Starting with George Washington, Washington was a strong supporter of the Union and preserving the Union. He believed that a strong central government would prevent chaos. But he was deeply concerned about political divisions. He thought that factionalism and political parties was a distraction, and really lamented the rise of political partisanship in the late 1700s. In his farewell address, he urged unity over parties. He writes, the unity of government, which constitutes you one people, is now dear to you. It's the main pillar in the edifice of your real independence. He would be deeply worried that the American Republic is now governed by parties. Alexander Hamilton would believe that we need to keep the Union at all costs. He was a big believer in a strong central government. He was a staunch nationalist. He believed that we needed strong economic and military power, that a divided America would lead to a weaker America. This is why he proposed a strong central military and a strong central bank, seeing them essential to national survival. So he would be deeply frustrated by our politics today and the hyper-partisan nature of them. Jefferson distrusted central power, and so he initially believed early in his career that states should have the right to leave the Union if needed. He later in his years saw that national unity was essential, especially relative to ongoing conflicts with the British. He believed in growing the size of America through his Louisiana Purchase, and really believed in national strength by the end of his career. But he was definitely a states' rights proponent in his day, and would fear federal overreach in the hopes of unity. He, of all of our founding fathers, would probably be most okay with the partisanship that takes place today, because he believed that it really shouldn't be the folks in D.C. on the federal level who are making the decisions for the rest of us. James Madison would believe that we need to lean into the Constitution. He probably would be shocked that today, that his Constitution, that he, as the father of the Constitution, he would have been shocked that it ended up being parties and not branches that are the greatest checks and balances on government. That today, for example, congressional Republicans really just have ceded power to the Trump White House. He would have been shocked about that. He would have thought that, of course, even if they're in the same ideological belief, the checks and balances system would mean that Republicans want a strong Congress and that they protect their governing rights. He would have been shocked that parties ended up being more important than branches. Nonetheless, he would have believed that we should really believe in, he would have really believed in a constitutional backed government. John Adams was a student of history, and he would fear today more than ever that our hyper-partisanship could lead to societal collapse. He was a student of Rome, and he would fear that a divided America would collapse like Rome, that hyper-partisanship is a serious threat, that strong institutions are needed to prevent mob violence and mob rule. So he would have been really concerned that hyper-partisanship could lead to our downfall. For the most part, most of the founding fathers would have been deeply concerned about our partisan nature today, and they would have called for a stronger hand in protecting the Union, though they were very fearful of a excessive federal power, obviously having left the British and British monarchy rule. Adams would have been most focused on societal collapse. Jefferson would have been most concerned about liberties being infringed upon, but they all would have believed that unity is essential for survival.